The Duchess of Cambridge, as a keen amateur photographer, launched the Hold Still initiative during lockdown and asked the public to submit their images which captured the period for a digital exhibition. Kate Middleton's last project has been a huge success, titled Hold Still, with the entrants being of all ages, ranging from 4 to 75 years old. Earlier this month, she was joined by a panel of 5 judges to select the best photos from more than 31,000 submitted for the nationwide contest, and said she was overwhelmed by the response and that it was so hard to whittle the images down to a top 100. Kate Middleton has received the title of real-life princess from a young girl who had her image selected for a photography exhibition. The project even got praise from Her Majesty herself, describing the images chosen for the exhibition as prime examples of the resilience of the British people. In a statement, the Queen said, "It was with great pleasure that I had the opportunity to look through a number of the portraits that made the final 100 images for the Hold Still photography project. The Duchess of Cambridge and I were inspired to see how the photographs have captured the resilience of the British people at such a challenging time, whether that is through celebrating frontline workers, recognizing community spirit, or showing the efforts of individuals supporting those in need." ITV's royal correspondent Chris Shipp spoke to 5-year-old Mila, who has been shielding, about how Kate chose her image to be included in the 100 picked. Speaking on ITV's Royal Rota, Mr. Shipp said, "Kate is what you might call a real-life princess." Mila told Mr. Shipp, "There's a real-life princess who picked my picture and the Queen knows about everything. Everyone in this whole entire world will see my picture." The project is part of the National Gallery, which Kate is a patron of. People from across the UK were invited to submit a photographic portrait which they have taken during these extraordinary times for the community project. Participants had to focus on 3 core themes in their submissions: helpers and heroes, your new normal, and acts of kindness. Hold Still was completely free, open to all ages and abilities. Participants were also encouraged to provide a short written submission to outline the experiences and emotions of those depicted in their photograph. The idea was to create a unique photographic portrait of the people of our nation in lockdown as we hold still, for the good of others, and celebrate those who have continued so we can stay safe. Hold Still will also act as a reminder of the significance of human connection in times of adversity, and that although we were physically apart, as a community and nation, we all faced and rose to the challenge together. Speaking about the project, the Duchess of Cambridge said, "We've all been struck by some of the incredible images we've seen, which have given us an insight into the experiences and stories of people across the country. Some desperately sad images showing the human tragedy of this pandemic, and other uplifting pictures showing people coming together to support those more vulnerable." Prince William gearing up for important role at star-filled event in Royal Family First. After coronavirus restrictions were relaxed in the UK in July, both the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have moved into a higher gear with their public engagements. Prince William in particular is set to be joining big celebrities such as Chris Hemsworth and Don Cheadle on a new project. Royally obsessed podcast hosts Roberta Fiorito and Rachel Bowie discussed the Future Kings Amazing event. Coming up on October 10th, Prince William will be speaking at the first ever free TED Talk conference. Prince William will reveal that fatherhood gave him a new sense of purpose, and helped spur him to protect the natural world in his new conservation documentary set to air next month. "I've always loved nature, but fatherhood has given me a new sense of purpose," William said in a voiceover. Adding on camera, "Now I've got George, Charlotte, and now Louis in my life. Your outlook does change. You want to hand over to the next generation the wildlife in a much better condition." Technology, entertainment and design TED Talks are conferences where world leaders come together to discuss topics from science to business to global issues. Prince William is patron of Tusk Trust, which tackles illegal wildlife trade and works on conservation efforts. He also set up United for Wildlife through the Royal Foundation that focuses on conservation and education. William's environmentalist work follows in the footsteps of his father, Prince Charles, who has worked on the issues for decades. Earlier this year, Prince William launched the Earthshot Prize initiative, declaring the Earth was at a tipping point, and humans had just 10 years to save the world. The Duke of Cambridge's endeavour to encourage new solutions to tackling the climate crisis was described by Sir David Attenborough as the most prestigious environment prize in history. Where does Kate Middleton shop? The royals' go-to supermarkets revealed. Can you imagine bumping into the Duchess of Cambridge and her children Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis while doing your weekly food shop? It would certainly be a shock. The chance meeting goes to prove that royals do sometimes do their own food shopping, and they don't always use high-end stores. Even the Duchess likes a little normality in her life when it comes to choosing her own groceries. On this occasion, Kate and her children were spotted in Sainsbury's in King's Lynn, close to the family's Norfolk home, Anmer Hall. The other shopper, Kate Carter, was just 2 feet away from Duchess Kate when she spotted the royal. She added, "I noticed Charlotte first as she had the beautiful green jacket on that she wore at Christmas. Then I saw Kate, who had Louis in her arms, and I thought, am I the only one seeing this? I couldn't believe it was happening." And this isn't the only time the wife of Prince William has shopped at Sainsbury's. The previous November, Kate caused quite the stir at the same store when she was seen picking up some Halloween costumes for George and Charlotte. Kate was seen paying for the garments using the self-checkout machines. The Duchess is also a big fan of upmarket supermarket Waitrose. The royal is considered a regular customer at her local Waitrose in Norfolk, near Anmer Hall. Shortly after the birth of Prince George in 2013, the new mum was seen buying some nursing pads amongst other items in her weekly shop. Kate was spotted at the same Waitrose in April 2018, when pregnant with Prince Louis. Back in 2011, the mum of 3 was pictured in a Tesco branch in Holyhead, Wales, queuing up with a weekly shop at the store's tills. Of course, the royal looked as chic as ever, wearing a flattering grey polo neck jumper and wore her trademark brunette locks flowing loose. It's understandable that the royal family would be cautious about their safety at all times, but these days, it sounds as if Prince William and Kate Middleton are really going the extra mile. In fact, Will and Kate recently ramped up their personal security for when they're out on royal engagements. For safety reasons, of course it makes sense for them to have some security, but people have been wondering what caused them to step it up right now. Apparently, it has to do with the current pandemic, and the fact that, by virtue of being the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, they tend to gather a crowd wherever they go, and that's obviously not a great idea now. According to what royal experts on ITV News Chris Shipp and Lizzie Robinson said on the show, Will and Kate aren't announcing their appearances with very much notice anymore. That's because they want to be cautious about the size of the crowd that gathers to see them, given that crowds these days are a great way to spread coronavirus, not just to the royals but to the people of the UK, who Will and Kate obviously care about a great deal. The media has also had to take precautions to keep Will and Kate's plans under wraps. This is insider knowledge, but we weren't even allowed to tell you about Kate and William's 3 visits this week until the 3rd visit had concluded, Shipp added. Even when we were taking pictures at the mosque, we couldn't tell you about it because of coronavirus and how it has changed everything, including security and travel with the royals. It seems drastic, but it makes sense, and it keeps everyone safe at the same time.